Should you rent or buy a student house? This is the #1 question I get asked from parents with children that's going to university. And because of that, I've done the math so you don't have to. Now let's look at the numbers. If your children are going to university, it is an exciting time, but it's also an expensive one. 4 years of tuition is not a cheap one. For example, if your kid is going to McMaster University, the average rent for a room around the area is around $700 to $800. So if you do the math, $800 times 12 months, which is $9,600, times 4 years, which is $38,400. Is that an acceptable amount to pay in rent? Or should you consider buying a house? A good quality student rental property around McMaster costs around $850,000 to $900,000. And that will typically give you 7 to 8 bedrooms. Now, how much do you need to purchase this house and how much is it to hold on it? So to keep the math simple, you need roughly $180,000 to buy the house. At today's mortgage rate at 6.5%, you're gonna pay around $5,400, adding up all the mortgage cost, maintenance, and utility cost. You're wondering how much the rent you're gonna get. So at the going rate, let's just say $700 one room. This property has 8 bedrooms, and excluding one room because you're giving it to your children. So 7 bedrooms times $700, that gives you $4,900 per month. So if you take your monthly income, which is $4,900, subtract your monthly costs, $5,400, you get a negative cash flow of $500 times 12. So you're losing $6,000 a year. So now, does that really make sense for you to buy the house? So on one hand, you're paying $9,600 for rent, and on the other, you're paying $6,000 on the holding cost. But one thing you did not consider is the appreciation on the property value. Now, typically in Ontario, you get about 5% growth on your property value. So now let's do the math again. On a $900,000 property, you get a 5% growth, which is $45,000. In a course of 4 years, that's $180,000. Now, if you factor in the cost on both sides, $9,600 into nothing, or $6,000 into $180,000. What makes more sense? Obviously, it makes more sense to buy it because you put in $180,000 and you're gonna double that in 4 years. Obviously, there are some other costs that you need to consider, such as realtor fee, closing costs, and lawyer fee when you're selling the property. But even if you factor in another $80,000, which is a very, very reasonable cost, you're still making $100,000 at the end. So I have a friend who went to McMaster University with me. Her parents actually purchased a place just outside of the school for $380,000 back in 2014. And during the 4 years that she has lived in the property, the rest of the rooms are rented to students and it's always fully occupied. So the parents have no issue holding onto the property. They're limited to renting to girls only, so there's not much issues during turnovers. And not too long ago, they actually sold the property back in 2022 for $890,000. So that is $510,000 made in the course of 8 years. A lot of people might say $380,000 is impossible to find in today's market, but in reality, McMaster is only going to be bigger with all the international students that they're accepting, the immigrants that Canada is taking in. So it's either the rent going up or the price going up. But either way, all the money indicates that buying a property makes a lot more sense than renting a property if you have the down payment. So if you want to learn how to make some money while your children go to university, make sure to contact me. I'll leave my information in the description below.